I'm Marley Silva and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Oh, my leg's asleep. Oh, it's really bad too. This is video 3 of 3. So yeah, after that I'm gonna take a break from filming for today, but I wanted to bang out 3 videos because I'm showered and it's my day off, and yeah, I want to try to get as much done as possible. Oh my god, my leg is so asleep. So in this video, I'm going to be titling it, I only relate to successful people who have lived with immense pain. I only relate to successful people who have lived through immense pain. So let's dissect that and unpack it, because I think on the surface it can sound really shallow, but then also beautiful. So I can only relate to successful people. So people define success in a different way. Some people use stature, some people use their job position, some people use how much money they have. I view success in how well-rounded of a person are you? Do you have a good job? Do you like your job? Do you have good family and friends that are good people? Are you busy? Do you work out? Do you have hobbies and things that you're passionate about? Are you a busy person? Do you like to do things to fill your time with, I can think of little things like, as a man, do you cut wood? Are you getting your boat out of the water for the summer? Like little things like that show progressionable effort towards positive things. I think being a well-rounded person is being a successful person, because if you have certain areas in your life where you're well-rounded, that is my version of success. And then the other half of that is people who live with oh my gosh, Marley, people who have lived with immense pain. So you can view that as like ailments or like having pain in your body. I view living with immense pain as going through traumatic events that have built and shaped you into the person you are today, right? Experiences that have changed the course of your life to refine you as a human being and make you a better human being. Because a lot of people view success in a materialistic way, and a lot of people view pain in a debilitating way where they have to be the victim at all times. And yes, it's okay to have gone through pain and to have bad things happen to you, but you shouldn't let that define you as a person, and you shouldn't lead with that. You shouldn't be like, oh, well, this has happened to me, so that's why I'm this way. Like, no, that's happened to you. So learn from it and adjust your life accordingly so it doesn't happen again. And if it does happen again, you know how to deal with it. So the first point in this video is going to be, have you lived? Is the experience you have more than work? Ooh, okay. So have you lived? Have you traveled? Have you experienced things? Have you met different kinds of people? Have you gone through, substance abuse, death, pain, strife, awful situations, being fired, being ganged up on? Obviously that's tiered to so many different people and situations. Like what one person's pain may not be another person's pain, and what one person's experience may not be another person's experience. A lot of the stuff I talk about is just in correlation in relation to me, because that's something I've lived and I can speak on. But living and experiencing things is individual to people, right? Like, are you putting yourself in uncomfortable situations to learn, to grow, and be better? If all you've done is check all the boxes and gone to school, gone to college, gotten a job, become successful, done the right thing, if you've only done that and you've lived on the surface and you actually haven't lived a life where you're humble enough to acknowledge that like everything can be gone in a minute, then, I may not view you as a successful person, because being successful is being well-rounded in so many facets of your life, not just on paper. And I think a lot of people like to define success on paper, and the people that I relate to the most have gone through the most and have also lived and grown through to be better through pain, because there's a certain layer of depth, and there's a certain layer of understanding, and there's a certain layer of vastness that you just can't buy. You just can't promote yourself to that level. Like, you really have to build yourself into the person that conquers those things to be beautiful. Okay, next point. Can you clock in? Oh my God, I love this. So in my last relationship, I can't believe I'm telling this story. In my last relationship, he was very privileged with family connections. He had jobs through family connections, was paid cash through family connections. You know, he had never worked a fast food job, a job where you have to clock in, a 9-to-5 shift work, like shift work in general. And then he went to school, you know, had that taken care of, had the good job, had the good promotion, had everything laid out perfectly. And I think that there was a certain layer that I couldn't connect to him on, because I had lived a life where I clocked in. I was told no. I was treated like shit. I didn't want to do it, but I had to. I was unhappy. I didn't have anybody. I didn't have family. I didn't have friends. I didn't have any connections. I didn't have any friends at work that were going to give me promotions or help me out. It was literally just me on my own, fighting tooth and nail for everything that I had. And there was a certain layer that we just couldn't connect on, because he had never understood what it was like to do that and to live that. He only understood the perception of it. And I think when you only understand the perception of someone's pain, but you can't relate to it, sometimes it can make it harder for you to hold space, because you've never had to do something in a position where you're not going to benefit from it, right? Like, when you go and do shift work, when you're fired, when you're told no, when people gang up on you, when you don't have friends and family, when you don't have friends at work to help you with growing at work and growing in work, you know, there's no benefit to you doing that. You have to literally build yourself up internally through that pain, right? And like, yes, you can compare it to like going to school, and there's an end goal, and the more you do, the better you go through the rankings, and that's great. But there's a certain layer of disconnect, because one person is growing from a place of unpromised goals, where the other person is just gliding through and has no conceptualization of that person's pain, because there's just no connecting point. And not always do you have to go through the same things connection-wise to relate to one another. There are different facets and avenues of your life where you can connect on those points just through different experiences. But I think fundamentally, if you haven't had basic level of experience when it comes to that, it can be hard to maybe respect or understand that person's prerogative, because you would just view them as like, well, why didn't you go to school? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And not from the lens of like, wow, you have done so much to get to where you are now. Ooh, that was passionate. Oh, okay. Can you apologize and be told no? So there's another video that I'm going to be filming at a later date that kind of touches on this a little bit, but apologizing. I think as an adult, as a fully formed adult in your late 20s, if you cannot apologize, that is a complete deal breaker for me. So I'll give an example. So yesterday I saw Caitlin for the first time in 2 months. There was a whole thing where we couldn't do my birthday dinner. I had already processed that and moved on, and I don't hold any animosity towards her. But I communicated to her last night. I was like, hey, when we had plans for my birthday and they fell through, you know, I felt hurt because I had seen you I saw you doing other things with other people, and I felt like you didn't prioritize our relationship as much as you prioritized your relationship with others. And it really hurt me on a level where I just needed you there for my birthday. That's how I felt. It had nothing to do with what she did. It had nothing to do with her. It had to do with how I felt. She literally said to me, Marley, I'm so sorry. I didn't know it affected you in that way. I'm really, really sorry. She apologized. She held space for me, and we moved on, and we There was no animosity. There was no hidden, I'm holding this against you. There was no like, oh, I'm still upset about this. It was like, we talked about it. We explained where we were both coming from, how we both felt, and we moved on from it. And that's a healthy adult conversation and relationship to have. And realizing that sometimes you have to apologize. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to hurt people. You're going to say or do the wrong thing. But do you have the ability to acknowledge that? Do you have the self-awareness to understand, damn, I really hurt that person, or damn, I really did the wrong thing, and knowing that you've done the wrong thing and actually being able to formulate an apology or a self-awareness to acknowledge how you made another person feel and apologize for it is crucial, is major, right? If you're successful and you've gone through immense pain, but you can't apologize, or you're successful and you can't apologize, you know, a lot of that doesn't mean anything, and a lot of that becomes surface level because you have so many great things going for you, but you can't give a base apology. You can't hold space for another person and see their point of view because it's all about you all the time. So, yeah. We touched on that. Have you felt pain in work, love, family, friends, and life? We did touch on that at the beginning of this video. The next point, never given a handout. Ooh, I like this one. So it's layered. Everything in my life, everything that I talk about, everything that I communicate is layered. There's no finite point unless it's an opinion that I have or that I share. But never given a handout. So there are a lot of people that are given handouts that learn through that handout and through that success how to become a well-rounded person, acknowledge how lucky and are self-aware enough to, oh my God, my leg is so asleep. Ooh, baby. Are able to acknowledge their privilege and use that to frame and to be a well-rounded person, because they acknowledge and they're self-aware of like, wow, not everybody gets that. I'm really, really lucky. I'm going to use that handout and that stepping stool to propel me to be a well-rounded person. I think that that's awesome. And I think everybody has their own journey, and that's amazing. I think for me, I sometimes relate to more to people that don't have a handout per se, because there's no fall guy. There's no daddy's money in the back. There's no family helping you out when you need it, right? Like you're forced to feel and to do everything in a reality scope. Like you have to face everything head on, regardless if you want to or not. And that's, in my opinion, what creates a really strong adult, because you can live alone. You can have a great job. You can, go through the day-to-day alone. But if you have help, either financially or emotionally, whatever, from friends or family, like, a lot of that is going to put you further along than people that don't have help financially from their parents. They have to do it all on their own. Don't have the emotional support from their parents to call them and talk to them and, have them support them. When you don't have that handout and you're forced to do it alone, it builds so much character and it builds so much grit, because you realize that the only person that's going to look out for you and to fix you and to propel you is yourself. The only person that's your fall guy is you. And me and my brother got into an argument yesterday where he said, no one likes you, no one cares about you, blah blah blah. And I was like, the funniest thing about that is, like, I don't give a shit. Like, I built a life for myself. I care about myself. I take care of myself. I work on myself. What do you hear in that situation? It's me advocating for myself. It's me taking the actionable efforts to give a shit about my own life, right? If I lose relationships, if things fall apart, if bridges are burned, if people leave, I'm going to work through that, and I'm going to process and heal and deal with that. But I'm not going to give up on myself and sacrifice my own mental state and my own life just because of others. I don't live my life for other people. I live my life for myself. I work on myself to make myself so focused and balanced that when I do have people in my life, I can share the love and the light I have inside of me and the gifts that I have. Like, it's not about like, oh, their perception and blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of horse shit. Oh my God, I get mad there. Basics more than a career that will leave the bed. Ooh, okay, we kind of touched on this on the first video I filmed today. Also, update, both my legs are asleep and it feels like literal knives are stabbing me and killing me. So that's fine. We touched on this in like one of the first videos, but valuing the basics more than a career that will leave the bed empty. So, ooh, that should be a video on its own. But when you value the basics, right? Like when I was kicked out and I went from having everything and being a snob and an entitled little bitch to having nothing, right? One set of dishes, one set of laundry, one bicycle, one car, one couch. Like, I valued the basic necessities, the basic things in my life, you know, more than meaningless things, right? What is my promotion at work? How much money do I make? What do people think of me? All of that stuff, so to speak, leaves the bed empty. You know, like when you value the basics and you go to bed alone and, or you're in a relationship, whatever, when you, oh my God, there's like the most beautiful birds outside. Wow, that's crazy. When you value the most basic things, not only do you completely humble yourself, but you grant a certain humility about you because you value things for what they are. Whether you have $1 million in the bank, whether you have the promotion that you want, whether you're at the end goal, whether you have that rental property that's going to make you an income on the side. When you value what you have in the moment and all the other shit's out the window, you value what you have, day to day, what you have. You know, that's the foundation of it all, right? Like you have to be able to value what you have so you can appreciate where you're going. You have to appreciate where you are to appreciate where you're going. You have to appreciate what you have so you can appreciate what you're going to build. And I think that that's a very, very big topic. And I think that that's very important and true because a lot of people will put priorities or, you know, they won't really value the basic things, and that will leave your bed empty. That will leave you empty. You'll constantly be in a state of chasing things instead of attracting things. When you have what you want and you appreciate what you want and what you have, you attract things into your life. When you're constantly chasing and you're constantly doing things on an external level, you're empty. There's no way that you can be happy when you're chasing things outside yourself and you're not appreciating what you have to begin with. Of course, you should always strive to be better. You should always work towards a direction and a goal. But you shouldn't do that at, you know, the expense of appreciating the basic things in your life, because when you do get those goals and when you do achieve those things, you may not appreciate them as much as you think you do. Oh my God, my legs are so asleep, you guys, but we're on the last point. Woo. Do you have the emotional capacity and bandwidth to withstand a lasting love? So let's break that down for a minute. Do you have the emotional capacity? Okay, so do you have it in you emotionally to, how do I word this? Emotional capacity. So have you gone through pain? Have you gone through experiences? Are you able to hold space for people? Are you able to hold space for yourself? Are you self-aware enough to know how you feel in that moment? Are you self-aware enough to know how you make others feel? Are you self-aware enough to know how your partner may be feeling, even if you don't understand it to the best of your ability? Do you have the emotional capacity and bandwidth? So bandwidth is, how much can you give to others? How much can you give to yourself? Can you hold what you need to emotionally to withstand a lasting love? Withstand is a big word. You know, relationships that you see for 30 years, 20 years, 40 years, they have to withstand change, sacrifice, pain, strife, family, friends, outside sources, other people coming into the mix. they have to withstand so much to create a lasting love, because you're going to be tested every single day, especially if you're in love and you're happy and you found your person. You're going to be tested so much because you either withstand and build and create a beautiful bond and relationship, or you grow apart, or you let things fester, or you let other people get in the way, or you entertain outside factors that have nothing to do with your relationship because you are not sexually disciplined, and you don't appreciate actual structural gratification. You appreciate quick fixes, and you don't actually appreciate. That's the word, appreciate. You don't know what you have until you've lost it. And, having a lot of bandwidth to withstand and to have a really strong foundation for a lasting love takes two people that are on the exact same page. And, I'm learning as I get older that sometimes relationships don't always look like you think they will. Sometimes you're not together every day and you go months or years without talking. I actually have someone in my life that I've known since I was 18, and I saw him last night. And how long of time is that? 18 to 28. That's a really long time to know someone. Were we together the whole time? No. Did we talk the whole time? No. Did we leave and go out of each other's lives? Yes. Did we learn things on our own and then come back together and see each other's progressions? Yes. And I think that as I get older, I start to realize that relationships don't always have to be such a straight line. Sometimes it's totally bendy and curvy and unknown and unpredictable, because that's what creates, such a beautiful mosaic in that shattered glass. Like when you build a bowl out of shattered glass and you see that mosaic, there are so many different pieces and chunks. Fuck. Hey, can I call you right back? I'm just finishing filming a video.
Okay.
Okay, I love you. Bye.
Bye.
There are so many pieces in that mosaic bowl. There's different colors, there's different shards, there's different textures, there's different cracks in every single piece. And that is what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it worthy of something. That's what makes it hold value, because you look at it and you're like, wow, this isn't just one piece of glass. This is years and months and pain and growth and experiences all blended into this bowl. I am so good at making metaphors and analogies on my channel. Like, I will literally start talking about a random object and correlate and relate it to the entire situation. But I'm a very visual learner, and I hope the people that watch my channel and that resonate with me are like that too, because it helps you understand the situation and helps you understand things in a way that you may not have looked at them. And as I get older, I realize, like, I want to meet someone. I want everything to go right. I want to move in with them and start a life with them. Of course, who doesn't? But I also understand that, like, sometimes relationships aren't a straight line, and sometimes you have to be apart to grow and to experience things and to do all of that to kind of come together. And it's really beautiful, because saying that out loud for me is a major level of maturity. It took a lot of pain and experiences and realizations and understanding to get there. And the more that I think about it, the more that I understand, like, wow, I have been doing myself such a disservice of not allowing myself to see things for what they are and appreciate them. I always have to have an end goal. I always have to know 10 steps ahead of time. And that's not how life works. That is not how life works. Life is so unpredictable, and things change, and pain happens, and experiences happen, and things change all the time. And I think that if you can have someone in your life through all of that, that's almost so much more special, because you're doing everything on your own, and you're forming yourselves in your 20s, which is the most important years of your life. Your 30s are a whole other cool chapter, but your 20s are so much pivotal growth. And I think that I've started to appreciate things differently, instead of just needing to know the future and needing to know what's going to happen and being so set on a goal and tell me this right now. Not knowing and appreciating things for what they are have almost healed me in a way, because now I can appreciate things for what they are, and I'm not trying to change them, I'm accepting them. All right, so that wraps up this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I love you guys so much. Leave a comment. I would love to hear from you guys. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.